Yo, what up? What's happening? We back. We in the D. We out here in Beresford. Today I'm hanging out with Kamu. We out here. What's Gucci dog?
Ah man, it's all good, bro. What's up? What's happening?
Ah, wanna go balabala.
How Balaval?
Yeah,
Ah no, that's good. That's good. Ska Balaval.
man.
You
Yeah,
know.
man. So Tommy, let's take it back to the timeline when you grew up in practice here. Ne? There was some time you were there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I grew up in practice here. I think I spent about like 4 years that side,
How old were you?
and I
Like
was
4 years.
in that 4 years. I was what? From 7 to 12, 13, 14, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Then you moved to.
Then I moved to town, and then yeah, I've been in town for the rest of my life till now.
How was the transition moving from?
Yo, bro.
Were you conscious of the movement then, or happy?
Not really. I was young. So remember when I moved there, I was young, right? Yeah. So now I didn't really think of such things. But of course, as I was growing, then I started, picking up a few things. And for me, I thought it was just something that was going to happen organically. But then I realized that, you know what, there's a change in lifestyle. That's one. There's a change in like scenery. There's a change in like the entire atmosphere is different from the hood to the suburbs. So now the life is changed, it's different, it's no longer the way I know it. So, but I didn't really pay much attention because I was still in high school even. So I just kept on doing what I do, right? Like there wasn't really much of a drastic change that like shocked my life. Like no, it wasn't like that. It was just like a swiftly, transition.
I was with Brazil. When was it? Was it yesterday? I'm telling you were part of the heavyweights.
I was, bro. I was part of the heavyweights. So the heavyweights, yo, bro, you're taking me back. Hey, you're taking me back. So the heavyweights, it was myself, Brazil Africa, and D's, right? So initially, I was not part of the group. So it was just D's and Brazil Africa, and I found them there because I came to Calvin at a later stage. Those guys, I think they were at Calvin since like prep. So from primary, they were there. They've been rapping together. So I started at Calvin from grade 8. And then, I found the guys rapping, and I've always had interest in music. And, from the guys that I knew those two guys specifically were the two guys that made music. And they were quite prominent in that space because they would perform.
In grade 8?
Yeah, in grade 8.
They were making their own music?
They were making their own music. We were already, and I'll tell you the whole story, actually, because even I then started making my own music. Yeah. The whole recording process was just, bro, like, I'll take you back to that. Just that process alone, it was crazy. But the guys were busy, and for me, it was like, okay, cool. I need to find someone that makes music, within the school. Yeah. And I joined the group. Brazil Africa was like, yo, bro, come through. Let's do this thing. I've got a couple of records that I already have. I think he had like 4 records. And I was like, cool, when can I see you guys so we can have an official meeting, blah, blah, blah. We met at the school. I think I was in grade 9, they were in grade 8, right? Yeah, so then I joined the group and we started rapping. So I started with rap, with hip hop, basically. Before I transitioned to like house, I started with hip hop. I used to rap. Please don't ask me to drop bars because I don't do that stuff anymore. Like,
nah, don't worry. It's not going there.
Yeah.
So you rap for health. When was it? When did you decide to make the change to start producing? So when you were just writing, you were not producing?
I was not producing then. It was, bro, like back then where like we're still like just buying backup, what do they call them? Backtracks. So we used to call them backtracks. Yeah, just instrumentals. Yeah. And then you just find an instrumental and then you record on it. But then obviously the lyrics were ours because it's stuff that we wrote ourselves. But we just never had our own beats. So we didn't even sell that music for commercial use. Like it wasn't out in the public for commercial use. We just sell it. We just like rapping.
Put it out.
Yeah, just putting it out because we just wanted people to know that. This
How
is
were you
what
guys
we
putting
do.
music out? Because both not better for host.
Yeah, bro. So it's like this is crazy. You're taking me back, yo. So Brazil Africa, ne? That guy, Brazil Africa had So obviously CDs. Let's start there. CDs, just normal hard copy CDs. That's where we put most of our music. and we distributed it just like that for just like
So
coffee.
they buy the pack of CDs.
Yeah, we buy like a pack of CDs.
And
So
then
this,
give them out for free.
we give them out for free or we sell them.
Who's funding that?
I think these was bro, like they give you pocket money, you save up, and then you buy like I had those empty CDs. Like you remember those TDK?
TDK.
Yeah, those empty CDs. I had a whole lot of those. But also you must remember my background. My dad was like a video guy, like a cameraman, and he had a lot of like those type of things, like audio stuff, media stuff. So I always had those CDs at the house, and that's why I told you that I was gonna tell you about. Bro, like it wasn't really like that, because like listen, I think I'll just take about like 10 CDs from the pack.
Which is like 10.
Yeah, 10. You say 10, you distribute it to 10 people and then they copy it themselves. Because we didn't really have that whole thing of piracy and all of that. I didn't care about that because
You wanted them to copy because
I wanted them to copy
the music.
Yeah, that's how I plan to distribute the music. Because also remember, we did this at school, so that's like a community, and it goes out of the school. So I give you the CD at school, and then you go home. You got homies at home. You make them listen to the music. They want the music. You copy it, and then that's how it spreads. So that was my initial plan. So there wasn't really much of like hectic funding, because even the recording, I think we all had our own stations. We didn't have. They were not the most luxurious studios, but with me, I just had a laptop, and then I had virtual DJ. And it's crazy, bro. Like virtual DJ had this option where you can actually record your own voice. So what we did was you play the beat on one deck, on the one side, and then you just record over it. Yeah. So there's no mixing and mastering process going on there. You don't even. As
long as you catch the audio, you're good to go,
bro. And funny enough, like back then, because recently I was actually listening to some of the records because I was talking to Brazo about it, and I was just reminiscing, and I was like, yo, bro, listen. I need to listen to some of the records we made when we were like 14, 15. Yeah. Because those records were like, look, that's what got me in this industry in the first place, So, yeah, it wasn't like the most, dopest of recordings. But, yeah, man, we just wanted the audio. We just wanted people to hear our voices, our story, what we wrote down, even those other people's beats. But, yeah, I think I still have the audios. I just need to go look for them somewhere. Yeah.
And then... house, when does that happen?
Okay, so I won't lie, bro. Like, at the time when I started hip hop, so remember there was like Kwaito, and then there was hip hop, and then there was house. But house was mostly consumed by like a lot of people that we consumed house music, but in terms of like producing it, we were not really like producing it ourselves in the country. I mean, I think I remember back then from like your 2000 until maybe like 2006, 7, we were still, consuming compilations. And compilations is music coming from abroad. We're just bringing it into the country, and then you put it all together on one CD. You package it, and then you sell. And then like your Fistus Mixwell had compilations. DJ Fresh, Soul Candy. But if you check the producers, the composers of those records on that compilation, it's people coming from London, from the UK, from Los Angeles. So it wasn't like local producers. And then. So to get to house music was a bit difficult as compared to like just us doing what we're doing, because all I need is just the beat and my audio. I don't need any of these technicalities of being able to produce all the softwares or whatever. Yeah. But how I actually got in, for me, it was like this thing of hip hop is not really like selling much in the country, because at that time I think Squatter Camp was like one of the, well, I was inspired by Squatter Camp. I listened to a lot of Squatter Camp then. But in terms of like selling and lifestyle and all, I was just thinking, nah, this thing belongs to the Americans, Because hip hop, like, I think
it was almost like non-existent.
It was like, yo, what are you doing? And also like the culture of it was just something that I was not really prepared to engage in or subscribe to. So then house music then became in 2008. I was in grade 11. So Kulo the song had just dropped The Giant Leap. The Giant Leap, I think that's his first album, straight out when he came from Barcelona, I think. He was at Red Bull Academy in Barcelona. So he dropped an album there. I think so, yeah. The Giant Leap. I love the whole album. and it was more ancestral or tribal, what they call tribal house. And at that point, that's when I decided, you know what, I'm actually gonna start producing house music. I don't know how, but somebody got to show me, and then I'll just learn, practice, and then eventually I'm gonna get it right. So that's how. First of all, the interest started from there.
Where do you get the album Yakulo? Like, how do you?
Bro, I come from a community of music consumers, right? Beresford, I'm from Beresford. So obviously Beresford, Joe, like there's a lot of, I knew a lot of DJs from grade 8. Like I know a couple of guys actually, like your Chama Music, your Brazo Africa, your Altimo Numero, all those guys, Root Sanity himself, all those guys used to like DJ. So those guys used to like, what do they do? They copy music, right, on CDs to go and play. So this whole DJing culture started at school because our school was quite popular with like these functions, you know, at school. Like if it's Valentine's Day,
Bash.
we know bash, and then the kids from that school would go there and DJ. So that's how I got to know about like Tulo the Song and them. Because at that time already we were consuming house music from Soul Candy, but I knew about Tulo because at that point, bro, like Tulo was so popular then.
I remember.
Because he was one of the youngest producers to come out of South Africa. You know, we didn't have a lot of these producers that you see now. We didn't have them. So Tulo the Song had, I think for me the way he came out, it was spectacular because he seemed to have, he had a plan. And for me to know about him while I was here in Limpopo, at that age, at that time of no technology, no social media and all of that, it means he was doing something great for himself on the other side. And that's how I got to like fall in love with the whole music scene, house music scene. And Tulo the Song was the biggest inspiration behind that actually, yeah.
So who taught you then how to, or to produce, to learn how to actually
To
make
DJ?
to make your own song? No, producing.
Oh, to produce.
Yes.
Bro, like I think it's like with any other thing, right? First you develop the interest. You want a bicycle, you're 10 years old, you can't ride a bicycle, you want it, parents get you a bicycle, you're gonna fall a couple of times just before you get it right.
Yeah.
So, but then eventually you just kind of learn. But for me, because one thing I needed was the software first, right? I needed,
FL.
yes, I needed the software that everybody else is using. You know, something that is like user friendly. I didn't want something that is complicated because I remember there were other softwares that
What
were,
is it?
yeah, those were only supported on Apple products.
What logic?
Full Logic and you know all this GarageBand. So obviously we did at that time we didn't have the Apple, the Macs. We didn't have the MacBooks and all this stuff. So I needed something that is compatible on Microsoft. Sharp. And then I went for Fruity Loops. Luckily,
Where do you get it?
I think I got it from Brazo Africa. So yeah, he just gave me the software. He's like, yo, mate, this is a trial version, but if you want the whole thing, so you can you can have more access to the program, then you have to pay for it, blah blah blah. Went through that whole thing, but yeah, I think you know how it goes. I don't even remember paying for that thing.
Yeah.
So it went on. I was still in I think I was at that time. I was obviously I was in grade 11 going to matric. Yeah. So yeah, man, I didn't even have the funds, the money. Imagine having to tell your black parents that they must pay 5K. Yeah, it's a 5K subscription. Every year, you have to pay that 5K at the beginning of the year, just so you can use the program to learn even, because I was still learning. It's not like I was already like a pro.
Yeah.
So I was still learning the program, and then yeah, I got FL. Started learning FL from 2008. 2010, I was doing my first year in varsity. Obviously, now I'm more exposed to a lot of other people from the city. People that are studying at ASE, Academy of Sound Engineering, because I was studying at UJ, which is in Auckland Park.
Where do you meet these guys?
In Auckland Park.
Were you in the streets or you going out?
In the streets, but they're not just like that, because I know a lot of people like saying we met in the streets, like they're trying to make it look like it's actually just like meeting you as a gent. Like we hang out because of a friend, and then during conversations, then I find out that you actually make music. And then because I also make music, then we have a common ground. Then from there we kick it. We exchange numbers. Then I want to know what you do. Next thing you in my room, we listening to my music, and then that's how it started. And the one guy that actually kind of like exposed me to a lot of people within that space is Massive Tunes. There's a guy called Massive Tunes. We still work together. He introduced me to a lot of guys from Academy of Sound Engineering because that school is there at SABC. And you know, UJ and SABC are just like same
Next
street.
door.
Yeah, next door. So when I go to campus, we go in the opposite direction. He's going to SABC. But you know, SABC also has, like, it wasn't just Academy of Sound Engineering. You know, there's Metro FM there. There's all these radio stations are there, right? The TV. So all these artists that are doing what I'm trying to do, they're there already. So all I needed to do was just to expose myself to that place. And I did that. That's how I got to know a lot of guys from that space.
So what happens now when you're in the city? But what those combos? I remember there was stuff like that.
Yeah, you away, bro. Like actually, this entire chat is making me.
We good?
Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the hustle started, right? Now you're in the city. You want to be this person. You want to be recognized for your art, for what you do.
Yes.
You don't have fans yet. You don't even have a lot of people consuming your music.
Yes.
So that means now you have to start working on your brand.
You're thinking this in what, 2010?
This was 2010.
2010.
And 2010
Where
what?
do you get these
I was 18 years old. I was young. I was 18. 2010 I think I was 18. And look,
What influences you to think like that?
bro, the hunger, because I did have the hunger to get into this industry. But because of the art, like I really loved music so much that I really wanted to I wanted to be my own composer and then put it out there. That was the first goal for me, to just be able to have my own composition and then put it out there, right? At that time, I'm not even thinking about the finances. I'm not thinking about the money. I'm not even thinking about the music business. I'm just thinking about myself as an artist because I grew up being exposed to these artists. All I wanted was just to be on stage and, perform my music or even to just distribute it, no matter whether it's social media, whether it's like hard copy, whatever. I just wanted to get my music out there to the people. So now they thought, so you're asking how was I getting these thoughts at that time, because I'm still young, but how am I doing all of this? It was just the hunger, mate. Nothing else, just the hunger. Yeah, just the hunger of it. But you must remember, I didn't go to Joburg, the city, to study music. I went there to study an academic course. I was doing accounting at that time, right? So now it's a matter of how am I going to juggle the two? Because it's also that, accounting is demanding so much from me. And also the music, it's something that I love doing. So of course I'm going to allocate a certain amount of time to it so that it also gets the growth that is required, right? Sharp. I did that, and just by, like I told you, just by linking up with the guys, mate, then I started getting a lot of information, because some of these guys were already exposed to some guys that are already doing this thing. So obviously, if you are exposed, then you kind of have more knowledge, on something. So that's how I started developing the knowledge. And you were asking me about Dolls Combos now. How did Dolls Combos come about? My first ever project.
I don't know, where are they from?
Italy.
Italy.
Yeah, Dolls Combos are from Italy. I think also that's for me, that was my very first project. I've never, at that time, I had never dropped music at all on any on any platform. I've never dropped music then. And then I was following Dolls Combos, I think, on Facebook, yeah. Because also when you're starting, you tend to follow everybody that you like, or you grew up listening to. So I was following like the likes of DJ Fresh, because Facebook was becoming more popular then. And I started following the likes of like your Dolls Combos and stuff. So they saw my timeline that I'm pushing music. They saw on my timeline that this guy pushes a lot of music. So then they decided, I hit them up. I hit them up, and the one guy's like, yo, bro, we can't speak English. There's going to be language barrier, blah, blah, blah. But let's try. We just want to hear your music. Then I sent them the file. I sent them my project, my entire project. I felt ready even at that time because I had already been producing from 2008. So now this is 2011, right? 2011, 12, somewhere there. But guess what? We only released that music in 2014.
Why?
The processes, like I said, there was a lot of, just besides the language barrier itself, there was other stuff that was sort of like, just, because one, that was my first release. So I didn't have my admin and paperwork in order. And for me, I didn't know that I had to prioritize that. I always thought, I'm an artist. I just want to release. I'm going to get my music out there, you know. But then I met other guys like your Oscar Mbo. Oscar Mbo is one guy that also like shaped my career from that point. Because I started talking to him. He actually loved a lot of my music, so I started sending him my records.
You say it's so casual. You met Oscar, but wait, how the fuck?
Oh,
did you meet Oscar? Like
Oscar. How did I meet Oscar? How did I meet Oscar? So, like I said, I think everything started on Facebook, mate. You know this whole thing of following people that do what you do. It's very key, and I think the new kids now they don't do it. Because everybody now thinks, nah, bro, like, you know, I can do my own thing. But back then, with me, I was following everybody. And following it actually means also supporting them. So Oscar Mbo and Ezra Lou, at that time, they had a podcast called the Ashmed Hour. And the Ashmed Hour, it's a podcast that focuses on house music, the only distributed house music. They were doing like house music podcasts. So of course, because I want to get into the deep house scene, I had to affiliate myself with people that are in the same space. So then DMs happened and just like communicating, sometimes sharing, liking, whatever. Forgot what was the actual, what was the activities happening on Facebook then, you know. But I know there was likes, there was comments and all of that. So then I started hitting him up and then we exchanged BBM. We exchanged BBM pins, right? Because at that time, Oscar also was getting in the industry, right? He was just starting, but he was a bit more, you know, just ahead of me because I was just new in the whole thing, in the city. And then, from there, Oscar introduced me to a lot of guys, and then he also advised on how I should, like, just navigate my entire career. And at that time, I was like, what are you talking about, bro? Because all I want for me is just to release music. What is these things that you're talking about? But even him then, he was still, like, learning the whole thing. But he did have a lot of influence in terms of, like, just linking me up with everybody that is relevant. Trust me, those combos thing, it came from just me DMing the guys and telling them that I've got music, I'm ready to drop. If you guys have all the resources to help me, then let's do it. Because I produce soulful house music, and when I listen to their music, those guys make soulful house music. And I was like, nah. And when I listened to my sound really sounded more like, because it was inspired by them. You know, the likes of like Andy Compton, Dolls Combers, Kings of Tomorrow, those type of guys. And then I was like, you know what, let me try these guys. And guess what? They eventually came alive because they started like working on my admin on their side. Look, I'd never went to Italy. I've never been to Italy, but we just worked just like that, sending files, and then they send back. We communicate on email. I remember we communicated a lot on email. That was my first time in my career where I found myself actually dealing with the music admin, like communication, folders, creating folders specific for a specific release, rollouts. I didn't know anything about that, but that was my first time, and it gave me a whole lot of experience. And you know, with your first project, usually like you either get knocked out or you just lose control of the entire release. And it's a story for another day. But yeah, I did drop that music with those combos. But I want to knock you out, like your first project. That is why now, bro, like
you gotta pay school fees.
It's like an initiation of some sort. But also for me, like that's why now my conversations are so deep about the music admin part. Like, get your admin right, bro. Like, and it's funny. It was so shocking that, like, even now, still today, you know, we're still going back and forth. Got this thing, the royalties, the
every
year. Just about 2 weeks ago, with the whole Zahara thing also. Like, I was like, yo, why are we still going through these type of things? You know, because these things should be, I don't know, mates, but I feel like someone should be able to explain to you the contract that you're signing. And also you need to know, if you are registered with all the bodies, if you're registered with all the bodies, bro, you definitely want to get what's due to you. And you signed for the right contract. And you agreed to the right thing that you know. If we agreed on a 50% split, then that's what we agreed on. your royalties will go to you. That's if you are registered. Because those guys that took advantage of the fact that most of my stuff was not yet registered. So I couldn't benefit. Even if they played a song on radio, I didn't get the royalties. If they played it on TV, I couldn't get the royalties. If they synced the music with a movie or whatever, I still couldn't get the royalties. So that's what I was talking about. But for me, I had to learn it with that very first project. And then from there, it was a different story for me.
So what did you do after that? You went to...
I took a good 4 years before I could release my own music again.
Why? What were you doing in that 4 years?
I was polishing the skill itself. And I know a lot of people are so against that. They're like, bro, if this thing sounds good and it's ready, drop it. And for me, I don't know, maybe I'm a perfectionist, but I just felt I needed to learn more of this skill because this is my bread, and if I don't get it right, I'm gonna lose it. Yeah, I might have gotten lucky maybe with the first 2 records because but how am I going to sustain this thing that I'm doing? You're only going to sustain it with like skill, your growth, development, and all of that. So I focused on that. Then I started like now engaging with people that are doing what I can't do, which is like now the likes of the Antidotes. I remember meeting the Antidotes. Guys, I met the Antidotes in 2012. Sizo, one guy from the Antidotes, they're from Swaziland. His name is Sizo.
The Antidotes?
The Antidotes, they make music, deep house music, soulful house actually. Yeah. The Antidotes, bro, they actually made a lot of music then, right? They had a song called Imialo. I think it was popular. That was one of their popular songs, The Antidotes, featuring Zino the Neckbreaker. So that guy started coming to my house, and as is they obviously showing me how to produce. Bro, I stole a lot of techniques, skills from a lot of people. I think my skill is just a compilation of people's skills. Like, I just stole this from you.
That's what learning is, not stealing.
Basically,
you take stuff, you assimilate, you turn it into what you think would work.
You make it what,
you did your own little...
I did a lot of that, and I was not even ashamed, like you're saying. Like, I call it stealing because, well, it's not really stealing, like you're saying. It's just collecting your skill and learning from other people, allowing yourself to learn. So I did a lot of that. Massive tunes. All these guys they were doing music. They were making music. And now, remember, I'm not studying music. I study accounting, right? So as you're studying on the side, you can now study music also. So the only thing I did was just to watch YouTube videos. Like, I'll go to campus and go to the library just to watch people producing music. I remember I used to watch Ed Jazz videos. I used to type there, Ed Jazz in studio. And then I'll see Ed Jazz, how he starts a song. Like, he'll start the song with either a kick or a bass line or whatever, and I'll be like, okay, but that's not how I start a song. I start a song with like with kicks and then followed by percussions or whatever. But then you learn. I mean, then I learned other skills. That's how I became like the producer that I am today, because of just learning, just a collection of skills from other people. And like I said, with every year, I think I always felt that I've grown a little bit, So then I always felt, as I'm supposed to drop my music, I always felt like, nah. If last year I doubled up, that means I can still double up again this year. So then I kept on improving the skill until when did I drop my other project? I think it was 2020. 2018, I dropped the project. Then that's when I started dropping my music, from 2018. That's when I was actually dropping music, registered, everything right. So before then,
independent.
Independent. Because I was never signed till today. I'm still not signed to any label, right? That's how I got to own my own record label. I only have one artist under Sophisticated Music Records besides myself. It's Massive Tunes. The guy that I started with, the first guy I met when I got to Johannesburg. That's the one artist that I decided that I'm going. He actually didn't even sign. He's a member. He's a partner in Sophisticated Music.
He's your partner.
So it's just myself and him for now.
So during your time in the city, while you're busy polishing your skill, what is it like? Are you out there in the social life of the music, or what's happening? Or you just closed in your, I don't know, studying or working? What does it look like?
Yo, okay, so I'm a very so I just don't have a lot of friends generally. So if you and I think you, bro, like even you're sitting here talking to me, but you like even you remember, like once we become friends, and because of many reasons, like we could have like common things that or we just resonate to each other in some way. Then I sort of like hold on to that person. I don't have like multiple friends. Like I don't have big circles of friends. I just have very small circle of friends. But I knew what this industry requires of me. It did require a bit of socializing, a bit of networking, and going out and knowing what other people are doing. Because the business that I'm in, it's a business of like performing. So there was a lot of guys that were gigging at that time. Like your Oscar Mbo. Oscar Mbo was already gigging at that time.
Yeah.
And I used to tag along with them. I remember my very first time going out as an artist, where it was myself, Oscar Mbo, Ezra, DJ Bubbles. He was still a Soul Candy then, I think, and Trev the Japanese, and Ninima Lux. Yeah, I think Vinny Da Vinci was also there. Yeah, he came. I think he came later. Yes, Vinny came later. Bro, I didn't even know these guys. Oscar just said, bro, let's go. Let's go to Paris. Paris, not Paris in the Free State. Yeah, he came to collect me at my place in Joburg. I was like, let's go. But now he was traveling with his crew. He was traveling with Ezra and DJ Lou, and I forgot who else. I think their manager at that time. So obviously now there's no space or whatever. I didn't even have a car. Guess what? It's like, nah, I still want you to come with, because I want you to experience the whole thing. Bro, I've never gone out for a gig ever to see what's really happening and getting booked, accommodations, everything sorted. I've never experienced that. Sharpo, and then he calls Trev the Japanese. It's like, yo, Trev, you guys need to go pick up Kamu from. And I don't know why he was doing that. I think at that time I think that guy saw all the talent. He saw everything. You know, he saw everything that everybody couldn't see. Because even then, for him to convince Trev was like Trev the Japanese at that time, bro. He was like
Superstar.
Yeah, get a superstar, get a superstar. This guy. So, and they convinced him to come pick me up. Sharp, they came, and guess what? When he got there, he's not even driving his car, because he was still based in the Western Cape. So he's driving KSK's car. KSK is another guy. He's also, he's like a very prominent guy in the industry, right? So he's a DJ. See, I see KSK. I'm not really starstruck, but like, this guy's I grew up thinking, there's never going to be a time where I'm chilling with this guy.
Be hanging out.
We cannot be hanging out. I'm just a boy from Limpopo. Sharp, now I'm in the car with these guys. Get in the car, on the way from Joburg to Paris. They talking, the conversations are just normal. No one is talking about, I'm a big star or whatever. And then that's where I picked up, no, man, act like these people are just normal people.
They're human beings.
They're just human beings. No one is talking about something crazy, like, some showbiz, some TV scandals and stuff. I'm like, these people are just normal people. Sharp. We get there. So from that very same day, that's how my career was launched. That very same day, that's how my career was launched. I wasn't playing, I was just going there to support them. Because you asked, how do I socialize? How do I do that? I started doing it like that, just going out.
And I'm sure that changed your
that
perception
day.
Of, you knew going out is, you saw how important it was.
Bro, like
the networking.
After that day, I think I just started supporting the gents. That was even before I started DJing myself. I was just a producer, I wasn't DJing. So what I would do is I would go out and support the guys. And funny enough, the support didn't really feel like I'm there to support the guys. It also just felt like I'm also there as a consumer. I'm also there just to listen to the music. Remember, I don't party a lot, bro. I don't like partying. I'll never go to a place to just party for the sake of it. Like for me, it's always motivated by who's on the lineup. Who am I going to be listening to? Well, sharp. Besides that, also the networking part comes in. Who's there? I can't just go. So I started doing that from a very young age. I was probably the youngest. I think, I don't know, for some reason I feel like I'm going to send you the pictures, bro. I want to send you the pictures from that day. We're all young and skinny, hungry, bro. There was no drip. There was no drip. You must see Oscar Mbo. I don't think he likes those pictures. But anyways, that was the setup. And for me, that day it changed my life because from that day, everybody knew me. Like everybody. Because everybody there in the Free State. Free State is another province, yeah? So I'm in Gauteng. So people in the Free State, when they see Gauteng people, they're thinking, Vinny, Trev, Oscar, these are all superstars. Well, they don't know who's this guy. But they don't know but he's with the superstars.
So he gotta be with some.
Best believe this guy, sharp. I'm experiencing that whole life. We sleep there. We all booked and we slept there. The following day, we all drove to Soweto. We're going to meet other guys. That's where I met like your likes of Zulu Mafia, Nhlangano, all of these guys. Zulu, I met Zulu Mafia then and Nhlangano then.
Do you know that's why you will never give up on music? That mini experience, that thrill, that high you got in those 2 days.
Bro, like, and that's my story, right?
Yeah.
Someone else is experiencing a different thing.
It's different.
Someone else is, he's on his way to Cape Town at the airport. He's sitting next to Lars Berendroth. He's in South Africa, and Lars is like, speaking of Lars, that guy, Trev the Japanese. So he started listening, because Trev was just a DJ. And then everybody else was just a DJ. Nini Malux was the producer. Trev was like, hey, Kamza made us listen to his songs. And then he wrote, Trev is like one of those intellectuals. Like when he writes about something, he puts all his thinking, his thoughts, he writes it it's like a column. It's like you're reading a column from a magazine when you read his status. So it was on Facebook. That guy wrote about me. Like from A up to Z. So he was actually just saying that I just recently discovered this new kid. His name is Kamu. That time I was just going by the name Kamu. There was no Duclass or whatever. It was just Kamu. It's like his name is Kamu. Check him out. I've been exposed to a lot of talent, but there's a difference between overrated and whatever. He was breaking it down.
That's a cosign.
He was co-signing. Yeah, that was a cosign.
That's a cosign.
But you know what happened after that? After he posted that, Lars Berendroth, Lars from LA. He always hangs around these guys. He's always so clued up on South African music scene. And then he saw that post. Then it's like, who's this kid that you're talking about? Trev tagged me in the comments. Surprisingly, when I go into the comments, I found other people already sort of like echoing what he's saying. And I'm like, but where do they know this guy? And they don't know me. I haven't released my music. How do they know? Kanti, remember when we were doing this BBM thing with Oscar? I think I was, I tormented Oscar. I used to send this guy everything I make. If I make a beat today, before the end of the night, I've got a 1 minute clip of that, and then I'm sending it to Oscar. So I sent it to him. And then that's how like these guys were just like shit. Because you would tell other guys like, listen to this kid, bro. Listen to this kid. And I'm saying this like it sounds like years ago. This was 2011, 12. And then then I went into the comments. Lars said, I would love to help him out. Because Lars has a label, right? He has a label, Deeper Shades of House. And then he also has a podcast called Deeper Shades of House. So, and I looked up to Lars Berendroth then. I was like, guys, Lars wants to talk to me.
What?
And for me, I was like, it's crazy. Then he DMs me. He's like, bro, I've got your details from Trav, blah, blah, blah. Let's do this thing. Yeah. So everything just started snowballing from there. Like,
Because it's a code. That's why the cosign is supposed to do.
Yeah. So that's how I got to like start talking to Lars, discussing how we're going to release my next project. Then a lot of other things happened. I decided to not release with Deeper Shades of House. Then I started working with Lamina Wave Records, which is Nini Malux. Because actually, I just felt like Nini Malux also now discovered me because he was there when Oscar was like co-signing, And then he's like, no, I'm ready to help you out with your career. So I just focused on that. That's how I approached.
How's the relationship now
with Nini Malux is good. I think my recent project, I dropped it under Lamina Wave Records, which is his record label. So the relationship is good. The guy, he taught me a lot, bro. Like, I'll always respect Nini Malukes. He's still there, very much involved. And not just in the music scene space. That guy checks up on me, like, yo, are you good? How's everything? I remember there was a time I lost my job. That guy was calling me every day. And I asked him, why do you call me every day? You're depressing me. Because every day when I talk to you, I have to tell you what I'm going through. He's like, no, because I know how it feels. And I really need you to not lose focus at all. I just want you to always be sharp.
Yeah.
You understand? And for me, I never took that stuff for granted. I always knew that, I've got people that got my back. And they were very legitimate people. So I couldn't take that for granted, even if I wanted to.
So when do you decide now you want to DJ?
My music is popping. I'm dope. I want to now start performing. I want to be seen. Remember producers, bro. Like, producers never really get their flowers. You know that. Producers never get their flowers. Producers are always like in the behind the scenes.
Whose fault is it?
I'll tell you. I just have to remember, right? But it's something that I'm currently working on. So because of that, I was like, no, man, I need to be seen. I need to, if I want this thing to expand, I need to be seen. I need the people to know who's Kamu Duclass. So now they can put their face to the music to say, okay, this is the guy who makes this record. This is the guy who made this record. And also, you just never really like a complete, and that's the pressure of it, unfortunately. You never really like a complete artist if you can't now DJ, but you're saying you're a producer, you see. Because now, who's going to play your music? Now you're going to depend on another guy to play your music. He's not even going to play
your music.
Yeah, and then you hope, because now you're going to start saying, I've got haters, my friends are not playing my music. But
nigga, why don't you play?
Why don't you play your own music? You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I mean, like I said, it's a learning, you learn. So for me, I was like, I'm always keen to learn. So it wasn't a skill that, but you must remember, I learned how to DJ when in 2008, 9, but I was just never I never paid attention because my main focus was to get the production right, and then I would start DJing. So then the DJing came recently. And also it came at the right time because I had now figured out how I'm going to navigate this thing. How am I going to put myself out there as a brand? Bro, when you go into DJ, you get booked maybe at 2 venues, 2 weeks consecutively. So you need to be prepared for that. It's not just an easy thing to say, no, I'm going to perform. There's certain things that go behind the scenes, like how you look. You obviously want to represent your brand. So you can't be there repeating clothes. There was a lot of things, and I felt ready. I felt like now I'm ready to be in the public and actually do what I do. So yeah, that's how I got into the DJing space. But I've been DJing. I've just never DJed publicly. Yeah.
So branding, when does it start? When do you make the conscious decision? Is it because you start DJing? You're like, now I have to have this brand that I'm gonna portray like this.
You are now in a public space, nah? You're no longer just doing this thing in your back room when nobody sees you. You need to be appealing. And I've learned, obviously, because in my studies, bro, I studied marketing also. I studied marketing.
It's cool.
At UJ, I was doing marketing as a module. And I had interest because now my friends, my immediate friends, all of them studied advertising. All of them. All my immediate friends studied advertising. So, and they were studying advertising then. But I knew that for me to go out there and be who I want to be, I need to first market myself. And remember, thanks, bro. And remember, marketing, it has different components. There's the advertising part of it. There's the branding part of it. There's the PR part of it. There's a lot of components, right? So at that time,
give me the coke there.
At that time, I didn't even have the finances to pay a PR to have a PR company or to have someone to come and put out a strategy for my brand, right? So now I had to depend on my own budget. I had to depend on my own self.
Your own strategy.
My own strategy. And it started from there, how I
want you to lay it down, the strategy, decide because I need a lot of people, especially in your industry.
Oh,
I need niggas to pull out a notebook.
It wasn't a one-time thing. It was a gradual thing.
Shout out.
I think in the 1 year, I was just using Facebook. I just thought putting my music, my links, like I had links, like data file host, right?
Every day,
Every day you put up a link. And what's nice about data file host is that it kind of gives you stats. So you get feedback.
Watch
like
the numbers.
Yeah, you can see the numbers, right? Same thing with SoundCloud. I was very big. I think I still have 2 accounts on SoundCloud. Those accounts, some of them still have better numbers than I do now.
Yeah.
Because then I was pushing, bro. Like I used to like just send everyone. I didn't even mind. I would send people, everyone in the DMs on Facebook, send them.
Sure.
Are we good? Yeah. Okay, cool.
So yeah, you put in links.
Yeah. So I've got the links out there. People are listening. People are giving me feedback. You know, concrete feedback, mates. Like I remember, like the feedback was so solid because people paid attention then as compared to now. People really paid attention, and that's how I know the two, like the two eras. I know